and he was involved with bringing all kinds of plants and trees back to the U.S. for the U.S.'s consumption and for industries. He brought back mango, avocado, papaya, soy, alfalfa. He brought back the cherry blossom trees for Washington, and he just brought back a whole lot of other things too. He had a home in Coconut Grove, so he had an affinity for tropics and tropical plants. That's why he met up with Colonel Robert Montgomery, who had a lot of land down here and a very nice, rare cycad collection. Cycads and ferns are the oldest plants on the planet. So Montgomery had a nice cycad collection, and his land is all of this, but mostly was the uplands where we can't go right now. And that's where his cycad collection is. And this is where people like to get married. They have the Bailey palms right over there. And you see that tree right back. Back there.
Oh yeah, straight all the way?
Yeah, big round thing kind of. That is a ponytail palm, and it is more of an agave than a palm. But it's a beautiful, big ponytail palm.
Oh, he's getting the litter.
Condition of a rainforest. This is what the up there it goes up. It's got a path you can take and walk up it, which is really nice, and you'll see orchids placed in there, bromeliads placed in there. Indigenous palms, they're from the Everglades, and they're called Everglade palm, not the big trees. The big trees are the royal palms, but these are Everglade palms. Right now we're going down Musa, Royal Palm Lane. Musa is because we have the banana plants, we have the traveler palm, and we have heliconias, and they're all connected to the Musa family. And these are the royal palms. Now you see the traveler palms up there, and the flower that it goes through the fronds.
Mm-hmm.
That's a traveler palm, and
Oh, these ones right here.
yeah, they look like a fan.
Bird of paradise.
Well, it looks like a bird of paradise, but it's not. These are your banana plants, the same leaf on them, and these are the heliconias, and their family. Now, see those? Look like those plants on the flowers coming through? But these are just heliconias. Those are traveler palms. And the heliconias are not birds of paradise. They're similar, but they're not the bird of paradise. And this is another form of a heliconia. I think it would be a pendant heliconia because I think it does fall down, deep down. Some more grass. And this back here is some ginger, red and white flower ginger. This is a different kind of a ginger. Different flowers. This is again the red and the white. And this is torch ginger. And torch ginger is unique because you see the way the other gingers had their flowers growing on the stem leaves. the stem parts, they don't. They have their own little stem that comes up from the ground, and they have their own little flower. And it's really kind of a pretty little flower, pinkish. And those are royal palms.
Are royal palms native to here?
No, royal palms and Bailey palms, those big ones in the front there, and the petticoat palm are native to Cuba.
Oh.
Yes, scraggly or otherwise gracefully. The royal has it kind of gracefully. It comes down from the bottom of the fronds and the crown of the fronds, and it's flowers like and seeds, and they'll just drop down. The Bailey palm, the brother to the royal, oh, they're a mess. They look like concrete poles to begin with. They've got a palmate leaf, and they're inflorescence. You see all those scraggly things growing on?
Yeah.
That's their seeds and inflorescence. So it's not as pretty and graceful as the royal, but they're brother and sister. Males will get golden and get
Oh.
yeah, those are the
They're bigger and greener ones.
three mangrove plants. And that's what you're seeing there, the plant. And I think that is the, I'm thinking it's the white mangrove that grows on the land and in the water. Because that's what that does. It's growing on the land and in the water. And on the land, it's extremely important ecosystem because it keeps the earth together. It keeps it from eroding and moving away. So it's important that way. It's also important that it protects the little fishes, little turtles. Now, you know what a juniper is, right?
Oh, yeah, with the berries to make gin.
That's it, girl. And every other Thursday, we're out here picking the berries.
No way.
Yeah, this is a juniper.
Oh my God. So low.
Well, it's kind of low, but you know, you can walk under most of it.
So
It
cool.
does look like a bonsai, but this is called mesquite.
Oh, like,
These are cool because you see what you've got on here. See what's growing on the branches?
Ferns?
Partially brown, partially big green
yeah.
things. Those are ferns. Ferns and cycads are the oldest plants on the planet. These ferns like to grow inside trunks and bark of like oak trees and the mesquite and sometimes some palms that'll have the bark split around. But these ferns, they look brown when they're not wet. They look dead. But when they get wet, they get really green and big. See, it's starting to happen because we had a good rain last night.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's what happened because the day before, they were all scrunched up and brown looking like you want to take them and scrape them off the trees.
Never seen a
And
sprouted
that will
one.
be that will be a root ball.
Wow.
If you put it in the ground, you leave it about 3/4 up, and it'll have fun. And maybe you will too if you like the coconuts. Yeah, but that's the way they look.
How
See
fun.
the agave on the ground that shoots up this flower
Oh,
spike.
yeah.
Ooh,
Oh.
got a nice
You mean
group of
this one right here? The
turkey
green one?
vultures flying around there. Yeah, the
This
spike,
frangipani?
they're growing up.
It's growing up. That's a agave.
That's a flower and that's an agave.
Oh.
That's the way the agaves will flower. When the stem comes up a ways, it splits.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got one over there on the right side, splitting again.
Ah.
So this, you can call it Hyphernia and, you know, be scientifically okay. But you can call it a split palm too because that's really what it does. And you see I don't see it used to have some. This is our pine rocket, our natural native habitat.
Have seeds.
Now, these give us some of the hardest trees known. This pine tree, these pines, they're the hardest pine in the world. It's called Dade County pine or slash pine. And you don't drive nails through it. Termites don't eat it. It's a very hard pine. Put it in your house for joists and floors and stuff. Termites don't eat it, so you're free. We also have lignum vitae that grows on there. There's a couple of trees over on the side we'll pass by. That wood is used for propeller shafts. It's so hard.
Wow.
Now, what these trees are on is a limestone rock base, and then little dirt, gravel, pine needles from the pine trees, and other little shrubs that sometimes get invasive species, but sometimes don't. That's cornuba. Those palms give you some wax for your lip gloss and lipsticks and some other little wax products. So wait, see, roots are too close together, but these are called screw pines or pandanums. And there's several different types of these pandanums with different types of fruit. This is one type of fruit. See it back there? It's like...
Are they edible?
No. Longer.
Yeah.
And the bottoms are longer. See, it's a different one.
Yeah, it's intelligent.
Yeah.
I like those.
You see there's one up there. There's, can't see it now, but they're up here and they look flat. Yeah. Yeah, they look flatter. They don't have the same. Your side.
Okay.
See all these cycads. Now cycads are the grandfather and grandmother to the conifers. All right? Because you see the way that cycad propagates itself with that big cone?
Yeah.
Well, they were here before the conifers and the pine trees and the pine cones. So, over the thousands and millions of years that these were here before, they gave rise to a pine tree. And that is your grandfather and grandmother to the pine cones, to the conifers, these cycads.